Edgar Allan Poe, one of America's most enigmatic and influential literary figures, lived a life marked by brilliance, tragedy, and haunting creativity. Born on January 19, 1809, in Boston, Massachusetts, Poe's journey through life was as dark and complex as the stories he wrote. Known for his macabre tales, poetry, and contributions to the development of the modern detective story, Poe's influence on literature is profound, despite his relatively short and tumultuous life. Early life and tragedy. Poe was born to actors David Poe Jr. and Elizabeth Arnold Hopkins Poe. However, his family life quickly fell apart. His father abandoned the family when Edgar was still an infant, and his mother died of tuberculosis in 1811, when he was just 2 years old. Orphaned, he was taken in by John and Frances Allan, a wealthy Richmond, Virginia couple. Though never formally adopted, Poe took John Allan's surname as part of his own. His relationship with John Allan was fraught with tension, particularly regarding finances and Poe's literary ambitions. Allan expected Edgar to enter a respectable profession, but Poe's heart was set on writing and literature. Education and early literary pursuits. In 1826, Poe enrolled at the University of Virginia, excelling academically but falling into debt due to gambling and lack of financial support from Allan. He was forced to leave after only 1 year. In 1827, Poe enlisted in the U.S. Army under the alias Edgar A. Perry and published his first book of poetry, Tamerlane, and other poems, anonymously. The work went largely unnoticed. After 2 years in the Army, Poe sought an appointment to the United States Military Academy at West Point, where he remained for only a year before being expelled in 1831. His deliberate neglect of duties was seen as a way to provoke dismissal. Literary breakthrough and career struggles. After leaving West Point, Poe focused entirely on writing. He moved to Baltimore and began publishing short stories in literary journals. His story Ms. Found in a Bottle won a contest sponsored by the Baltimore Saturday Visitor in 1833, earning him some recognition and a modest cash prize. Poe began to establish himself in literary circles and took editorial roles in magazines such as the Southern Literary Messenger, Burton's Gentleman's Magazine, and Graham's Magazine. His sharp literary criticism earned him the nickname the Tomahawk Man for his brutal reviews, yet his reputation as an editor and writer grew. In 1839, he published Tales of the Grotesque and Arabesque, a collection that included some of his most enduring tales, such as The Fall of the House of Usher. Though it gained critical praise, it brought little financial reward. The Raven and Rise to Fame. Poe achieved national fame with the publication of The Raven in 1845, a poem that captured the public imagination with its haunting atmosphere and rhythmic language. With the refrain of Nevermore, the poem became a sensation and remains one of Poe's most iconic works. Despite the fame, Poe continued to struggle financially. He lived in near poverty, often surviving on editorial work and lectures. His attempts to launch his own literary journal, The Stylus, repeatedly failed due to lack of funds and support. Personal life and decline. Poe's personal life was marked by sorrow and instability. In 1836, he married his 13-year-old cousin, Virginia Clem, a union that would bring him some comfort but also deep sorrow. Virginia suffered from tuberculosis, and her slow decline devastated Poe emotionally. She died in 1847, plunging him into depression and deepening his dependence on alcohol. After her death, Poe's mental and physical health deteriorated. He moved between cities New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, trying to maintain his literary work while grappling with grief and addiction. During his final years, Poe was involved in several romantic pursuits and continued to give lectures and readings. He wrote Eureka, a prose poem, an ambitious cosmological essay, and composed some of his darkest and most introspective poetry, such as Annabel Lee and the Bells. Mysterious death. Edgar Allan Poe died under mysterious circumstances on October 7, 1849, at the age of 40. He was found delirious on the streets of Baltimore on October 3, wearing clothes that were not his own. The exact cause of his death remains unknown. Speculations include alcohol poisoning, drug overdose, heart disease, epilepsy, and even political kidnapping. Poe's death, like his life, is shrouded in mystery, adding to his mythic status. Legacy. Poe's influence on literature, especially in horror, mystery, and science fiction, is immeasurable. He is often credited with inventing the detective fiction genre through his character C. Auguste Dupin in The Murders in the Rue Morgue. His use of psychological depth, unreliable narrators, and Gothic imagery reshaped American literature. Writers like H.P. Lovecraft, Stephen King, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and Charles Baudelaire have cited Poe as an influence. In Europe, especially in France, his work was celebrated, thanks largely to Baudelaire's translations. Today, Edgar Allan Poe is recognized not just as a master of the macabre but as a foundational figure in modern literature. His stories and poems continue to be read, studied, adapted, and revered around the world, haunting generations of readers with the eerie beauty of his words. Poe's life was a constant struggle between brilliance and despair, creation and collapse. He remains a symbol of the tortured artist, whose genius and demons were inseparably intertwined, an enduring legend in the pantheon of literary greats.